the #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to episode 267 of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host, Richard Beckson. Today, we're going to be talking with Mario Mikowski, or many as we like to call him, former board member of Tabacon, current board member of Hotel Presidente and director of sales and marketing at Nantipa in Santa Teresa. So many knows his tourism here in Costa Rica. So we're going to be diving into what's happening in Costa Rica's tourism industry, exploring his new podcast as well, which I think he just got episode 4 out, talking to other people in the tourism industry. I think it's a lot more focused for people in the industry, but it's a great resource. And also discussing where many believes that the future of tourism in Costa Rica is also headed as well. So going to be a great discussion there, as I know many has quite a few viewpoints on kind of where things are going. Remember, guys, if you're looking to do any investing here in Costa Rica, we actually have some investment products starting at $100,000 in Juan Antonio and also Arenal. They're doing very, very well at the moment. Our villas are, at 70% occupancy for next year, which is insane. I don't know how it happened. It's like people keep asking me how's things going, and I keep saying too good. So if anyone's interested there, great returns, better than you'd get basically on your own. I always feel like we're cheating just because we're able to connect into the luxury network here and kind of really know how things are working, having spent 20 years in the tourism industry here. Email us info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. No obligation. You can just have a chat with us, or in the description down below are the links to organize a time to chat with us. But let's get straight into the podcast. Good afternoon, Manny. How you doing?
Very well. How are you, Richard?
Good. It's a pleasure to have a fellow podcaster on the podcast now. It's not often we get podcaster.
Nowhere near as good as you are, but happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to share some time with you.
Not at all, man. It's my pleasure. I'm sure if you go back and listen to my first one compared to your first one, I'm sure your one is a lot more, not as rough as my first one.
Well, I have a great partner. Rolando is a very knowledgeable guy and has been around the block a few times. So I just let him lead and bring in some great guests and try to make it fun and informative. For those of you out there that want to join us, puravidaturismo.com. We're in Spotify and YouTube, and it's a great way to learn about current affairs in tourism, a little bit of politics in Costa Rica, what's going on in the markets in Costa Rica, and hopefully get a little more political as the campaign heats up.
Well, I'm glad you're doing it, Manny, just because, and for anyone that's listening and wants to listen, I'll put the description down in the podcast, the link down there so you can jump into it. But it's good because I am yet to find a president that actually wants to talk about tourism.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It's really weird, dude. Like, what's going on?
They talk about tourism in the campaign, but once they're in power, it's like they forget about us.
Probably because we're quiet, maybe. I don't know. We don't make that much noise, and there's not a sindicato. And
yeah, maybe a little too spread out through geographically and, in the verticals. And even though Canatur does a good job in unifying us, we don't make noise.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to rock the boat. We should be making a lot more noise, especially with the way things are now. But you're also afraid of. I'll give you a little interesting story without mentioning dates, so I don't get any enemies in line. I wrote an op-ed article. This is way back, decades ago, maybe years ago, in La Nación, when La Nación was still, thick with a lot of advertising. And people actually read it in paper. And it was like a parody on driving around Costa Rica, going from San Jose to Arenal to Monteverde to Manuel Antonio and back. And, the roads were terrible and potholes and lack of signage. And there was no ways at the time. And so it was a huge criticism. And I ended up writing like, okay, when I got to Manuel Antonio, I was so fed up. I returned the car and I took the flight home. Nature air at that time, which was true. Within the next month, La Caja, Tributación, Ministerio de Salud, Ministerio de Trabajo, they had a whole lineup of inspections at our hotel. So that's when I learned my lesson. Like you say in Costa Rica, calladito más bonito, right?
Don't poke the bear.
Don't poke the bear.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a shame, but again, I think our strength has become our weakness in tourism, if that makes sense. The strength of its boutiqueness and its dispersity and uniqueness also means that when it comes to kind of coming together, like there's no big players, if that makes sense. It's not like, I suppose, in Mexico where you have like 100 of these large hotels which are owned by conglomerates and stuff where they can come in and kind of bully people a little bit more. Costa Rica is very much more of a boutique destination.
Well, the fact that we're boutique should not preclude your idea. Um, it's something cultural that I haven't been able to put a finger on.
Yep.
I wish I could, but the only way you unify tourism in Costa Rica, either a destination or the country as a whole, is during crisis.
Yep.
I have a friend who I met through the travels and my experience in tourism, and she happens to run the representation of Los Cabos tourism. I think it's in the West Coast. I'm not sure if it's definitely in the West Coast. So I was talking to her and see how they got the government to put money up, and she said, "No, this is not money, government money. The new administration in Mexico is not really putting a lot of money behind tourism. This is the hotels in Cabos that organized, decided how much funding they had to put up as a cluster, and hired a specialized agency to promote their destination in the U.S. markets. So this is all private money doing a fantastic job in branding and positioning Los Cabos tourism. And I just started crying. Like the day that happens in Costa Rica, I'll see my great grandkids hugging sloths. I mean, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that it doesn't. But I mean, again, I do think that the pandemic did bring a lot of the tourism people together, though, man. I mean, it really did, and kind of a lot of people got kind of together and formed groups and helped out. And yeah, it was because, I mean, everyone owed everyone and no one had no money.
Right.
So it was either we're all going to get out alive or we're all going to die together, if that makes sense, if we don't. So
sink or swim.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was beautiful to see that. I mean, I think the topic of conversation that's going to be for the podcast, not just for this podcast, but kind of going forward, and we're probably going to touch on it, is just we've got an election coming up, next year, where we have no idea who's going to win, of course, like normal. But the probably biggest two subjects for anyone at the moment is exchange rate and security.
And infrastructure. So that's three.
Okay.
Don't forget infrastructure.
Yeah. I mean, God, my question here is like, how are they going to go about doing this, man? Because I mean, what's your opinion on like what the next government needs to do?
Okay, so let me start with some numbers for you. And for your listeners, people think like, I shouldn't vote. It doesn't matter. Okay. So our current president, Rodrigo Chavez, came second in the first round, right? In the February round, he came in second. Liberación was first. He got in second with less than 10% of eligible voters voting for him. Okay, 10%, less than 1 in 10. Moved to the second round, beat the Liberación guy, and became president. Your vote matters. The campaign matters. The promises of each campaign of the 20 political parties that are out there and the 20 candidates, pay attention. This is not everybody's corrupt, everybody is chorizo. No. Seriously, the future of the tourism industry is tied to what happens in February.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that because in no other country that I know of with 10% of the vote do you become president. But I mean, I suppose maybe that's the beauty of Costa Rica, but maybe it's not. But I remember we had Otto Guevara on here before who was explaining it. He was like, I became diputado with 3%. It was like, what? Sorry. He became diputado with 3% of a vote in San Jose.
That's true.
So it was like the minority has a huge impact like the voice of the minority has a huge impact in Costa Rica.
That is true. Yes, representation.
Yeah. And I mean, I
The
suppose
only thing I don't like about Costa Rica is that you don't get to choose directly your diputados, right?
true.
The party gives you a list and you vote for the party. So again, a lot of nepotism and cronyism and all the isms. But I mean, it is what it is. That's the system. It's not going to change. But at least, yeah, you can get elected with a limited number of voters.
Well, let's just chat tourism a little bit because, I mean, the numbers being thrown around of like a 3% reduction in tourism arrivals this year doesn't seem right, man. It looks more like 10% to me, maybe even more from what I understand, what I'm seeing out there. It might be arrival numbers, but again, I mean, you have to speak to the hotels directly and the tour companies and go, how much is it down, to get a real idea. And then you get an idea. I mean, is there any part of Costa Rica that you still think has strong tourism? Like, I mean, still not, it could be worse, put it that way.
So let me challenge you a little bit. I'm not going to say the numbers from the government are fake. I actually do believe in the numbers they're putting out there.
I do as well.
I want to remind you and all your listeners that while demand may be slightly down or flat, supply doubled.
Correct.
I mean, with all the short-term rentals, I mean, we doubled the number of beds in 5 years.
Yep.
So the pie is the same size, and there's, double the people eating out of it. So yeah, everybody's going to be suffering.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, in some destinations, it tripled or quadrupled. The number of
right. Yeah. If you start, micro analyzing it, some areas are suffering greatly.
Yeah. Are there any areas of Costa Rica, many that you think are still doing well in tourism, that still has tourism pretty strong?
Again, I mean, depends on what you mean by strong. I think Arenal is still holding its own, but mostly because demand is historically exceeds supply in the region, and we haven't seen that many short-term rent. I mean, there is a lot of short-term rentals in Arenal, but not in the upper level or luxury segment. So they are competing with the cabinas, they are competing with the 2-star hotels, but everything, let's call it 3-star and up, is still solid.
Yeah.
Not the case in other places.
Well, and I think it's just because Arenal La Fortuna has no real estate market for that. I mean, the idea of $1 million villa in Arenal is nuts. I mean, who would do that?
You.
Yeah. No. Yeah. But like, there's nothing luxury there at all, man. Really.
Not in the villa area that I'm aware of now.
No, it's not. But anyway, it's amazing how every time I go up to Arenal, I was up there yesterday, actually, I flew up there and back. I was like, wow, it's always busy. There's always people there, always busy. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm proud to have been part of the growth in Arenal over the last 30 years or so. It's unique and it works. It's organic.
Yep.
There is no clear-cut, anchor leader that you can have in Guanacaste or in San Jose or in Jaco. There's a lot of locals that are invested in the area. And what I appreciate the most is that people try to have different products. They're not just looking at what the neighbor's doing and trying to copy it and charge less.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, they have 5 rafting companies and 5 zip lines, but they're all different. They all have a twist. One is more family oriented, one is more extreme. The other, so there is a product for every segment. There's great segmentation, and the destination sort of works together as a unit. The Cámara de Turismo has done a great job in the area. And of course, you have the best Asociación de Desarrollo, which is funded by the waterfall park. Yep. So it's well funded, visionary, works together with tourism, And a lot of positive factors have come through to make the destination unique, and it works.
Well, I mean, I think probably Arenal's biggest competitor is Monteverde, but it doesn't offer everything that Arenal does. And the thing is, I say that like when you're thinking about hot springs or volcano or adventure, I mean Arenal owns it, and there is no competitor. So everyone goes to Arenal. The beaches, we've got tons of beaches here to choose from.
Right.
But there's only one Arenal. So that's why I believe in Arenal long term, just because I'm like, yeah, I mean there's only one choice.
And look out, as they say, be careful what you wish for. With the new bridge that they are finalizing that connects Arenal with Monteverde on the south side of the lake, and it shortens the drive by, I think, about an hour.
Yep.
Be careful Monteverde doesn't become a one-day trip out of Arenal. And then, you go up there, you do the hikes, you do this, and then you come back.
I could see that.
Monteverde is going to have a challenge, and they're going to have to reinvent and become more competitive, because otherwise they're just going to extend one night stays in Arenal and go have the day pass or the day tour in Monteverde.
So I've had two conversations in 2 days. I had a conversation today about someone that's looking to buy a beachfront hotel in Samara, and another person looking to buy a 7-bedroom hotel in Nosara. So one in Samara and one in Nosara. I think a lot of people listening to this podcast are potentially looking to get into hotels or tourism investments. You have tons of experience in this. What would be your advice to them, apart from don't do it?
No, I wouldn't say don't do it. What I would say is wait to see what happens in February.
Yep.
20 candidates, the whole political spectrum from the extreme left to the extreme right, everything in between. And today, it's anybody's game. I would not discount any dark horse in the race or anybody that seems to be out of it. And of course, they all have different views, visions, importance of tourism in their platforms, and then we need a government that is going to put tourism in the front burner starting May 1st or May 8th. I don't know when they start, but these 4 years have been brutal. Seeing our costs go up 35-40% in real terms, seeing the infrastructure crumble. I'm going to have to say that the ICT has done a great job in promotion. At least they've, put the money, and you can see the results. They've attracted new airlines. Some have left already, but the issue is not. It's not in the promotional part or the marketing part. It's the costs and security, and of course, infrastructure. I mean, if you have a fantastic 10-day stay in Costa Rica and you think it's the best trip you've had in your life and the whole family is happy, and you get stuck in La 27 for 5 hours and you miss your flight, that's it. Your trip was horrible.
Yeah.
So
that's why, I fly everywhere, and I encourage everyone to fly everywhere if they can. It's not always the most affordable thing to do, but again, I left at 7:00 in the morning and I was back from La Fortuna at 12:30 in the afternoon back in my house, and I spent a couple of hours at Fortuna. And it was 4 people. And when I calculated 4 people, car, amount of time, food, I was like, well, the charter wasn't really that much different, to be honest with you.
Right.
And saved myself half a day to work.
Right. But there are some destinations that, like Monteverde, going back to that you cannot fly to. So, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of people are looking to invest in the long term in Costa Rica as well. And I always tell them that, like, look, Costa Rica is not like the US, where you can see a blank or an empty canvas, like an empty field, and in 10 years, the whole thing's developed with a town center. And it doesn't work like that. Things move very slowly here. But if you were to make a 10-year punt on a location to invest in Costa Rica, or ones that you think that should be on people's radars, where would it be and why?
And you're still talking about tourism.
Yeah, I mean, tourism, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good question. It really, I mean, is it a strict investment? Are you going to be running the place?
Yeah,
I mean, because
let's say that it's a strict tourism investment, kind of real estate investment, because
so you're like me, you're sitting in Washington, D.C., and you have the investment in Costa Rica, and you visit it once a month, and
yeah, let's say that,
and you don't deal with the day-to-day problems.
Yeah, you have. It's nice walking around your place, yeah, but you're not doing the day-to-day, yeah.
Well, I think areas of high demand, which are maybe underserved, also.
Yep.
I mean, Tortuguero is great. I just think that operating in Tortuguero can be a nightmare, but Tortuguero is lacking in hotel product.
Yep.
And again, I'm just looking at investing in hotels. I'm not talking about, tour operation or theme parks or anything like that. As we mentioned, Arenal, I think it still has space to grow. And of course, I'm partial to Santa Teresa because that's where I am. But those are four good spots. Now, if you have patience, if you have a vision, and you want probably the best return for your investment, because all these places have probably overappreciated land values, right? So you're not going to find a bargain in any of these I'm talking about. But if you want to be the Lone Ranger starting a new destination, I'm a big believer in the area where El Silencio Lodge is. Silencio Lodge is located at Bajos del Toro.
Yep.
I think it has so much potential. Beautiful waterfalls, great nature, close to the Poás volcano. So, and I'm sure land is significantly cheaper than the rest of the country. So, if you want to go for the home run hit, that's my tip.
You've already got El Silencio Lodge, who's taken probably some arrows up there already. So, I mean, become the second or third or fourth guy up there, because being the first guy is always tough, as we know. Many of us have tried, and taken arrows. But as you say, sometimes it can pay off very, very well, but sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I mean, I also love the area of Dota, all those mountains in San Marcos, and I would love to see that grow, a little bit further up in that area and connect down there to, the Central Southern Pacific.
Last time I was in Dota, I went trout fishing with my dad about 45 years ago. So cannot comment on that.
Well, I'm just saying like that San Marco Tarazu, that, where all the great coffee's made, where they've got a vineyard now with the Copé, with up there.
Yeah.
Just very different, very, very different that's being offered in most of Costa Rica.
That's right.
But
the question is, what do you pair that up with? Like after that, like Altagracia, like Altagracia has always had that issue, right? That a beautiful hotel, but you're like, okay, and then what?
Yeah, I mean, you have to go down, through Santa Juana Lodge, down that way to Manuel. I mean, I take that road all the time because I drive up from Manuel Antonio up through those mountains. And I'm like, it's just getting from the airport across there is just a nightmare. You've got to go through San Jose and you're like, oh man. I mean, just the idea of going through San Jose is just, yeah. I think I'd rather have a tooth removed sometimes.
Hey, don't diss San Jose. We have a hotel there.
Dissing San Jose. I love San Jose. I'm just saying the traffic is absolutely nuts sometimes. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But anyway, well, Manny, my last question for you is I've kept it long enough, and this has been great. And I think I know your answer to this because you've kind of answered it before. But if you had $500,000 to invest in like a business or real estate in Costa Rica, where would you invest it and why? Okay,
first of all, like we said, keep it in the bank, short-term bonds until May, see who's going to be the president.
Yep.
I'd love to hear your comments on this, but my sort of counterintuitive answer would be land around Lake Arenal.
Interesting you say that, Manny. I would say yes, but I mean, like Lost Iguana, Arenal Lodge, depending on what you want to do. I mean, it's always been very difficult, but I still believe in Arenal. Just I don't know why nothing ever works around Lake Arenal. You know, I
Because
don't
of
know
the
whether it's
current laws.
yeah, or like it's the windy roads, or but yeah, I mean, but you're yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. Don't get it's one of my favorite destinations in Costa Rica.
I mean, I'm sorry, don't get me wrong. I'm not building a hotel there. I don't think a
Yeah,
hotel would work. But if you're looking at real estate development, and you get lake access, I mean, come on.
yeah,
You've seen lakes in the US. I'm sure England's the same. I mean, every lakefront property is like growing in appreciating significantly, and you can still find a lot of land around the lake that's not highly priced.
I think you know you spend a lot longer here than me. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm looking at it from okay, you need like some linchpin hotel, to be there to begin with, and then do kind of like some more because just doing kind of buying real estate and stuff, it's very difficult because you can't really kind of move a market that much. Um, and I mean, but it's appreciated there, that's for sure. And there are projects happening here and there. And, I mean, I used to spend a lot of
Yeah,
time.
but the moment the law passes, which it will,
Yeah,
and will allow uh, public use and access to the lake where you can have your boat and you
yep,
can your jet ski and you go and you have your little dock in your property,
yeah.
it's a no-brainer.
I look. I mean, I've nearly bought land around Lake Arenal constantly. So yeah, and the ex-owner, well, I say ex-owner because he passed away of La Mansion Arenal. Godfrey was a good friend of mine, and so is his family. And I mean, it's beautiful just to sit up there and watch that sunset. Um, but yeah, well, look, we've got a lot of people that listen to this podcast that have invested around that area. So it's, I would say we've heard it a couple of times, but not that often. But I like the thinking, Manny.
I mean, I'm just trying to be different, right? I mean, I don't know. Anybody can say Santa Teresa, Nosara. Those are already hotspots. So
Yeah, I
I'm
like it.
trying to give you something different to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a floating hotel on the Arenal once on Lake Arenal years
I
ago.
think it was a floating restaurant, but yeah.
Yeah, wow. I mean, there's an idea.
Look, this is the only lake in the world, I think, that has like no tourism development.
There's nothing on it. No one's ever on it either.
Nope,
Like, there's no one ever on it.
nope, nope.
So interesting. Well, Manny, this has been an absolute pleasure. Again, I know you're very busy on all aspects of your life. So I appreciate you taking 30 minutes out of your day to chat with us on the podcast and share some of your knowledge. And again, I think anyone that wants to listen to Manny's podcast, and it goes a lot deeper than this with amazing information. I'll put the link in the description down below. But thanks very much for joining us on the podcast.
Hey, thank you for inviting me. It's been fun. And yeah, I mean, I'm still bullish on Costa Rica. But I think the next, what is it, 4 months
Yep.
are crucial. So anybody listening that holds a cedula, please, first Sunday in February, take a few minutes, go vote. We need to make sure that we are set up with a government that is going to, take tourism and put it again in the forefront of the economy and the social development in the country. So please vote.
Well, I think any candidate that's for tourism definitely has my vote, dude. That's for sure. So
Absolutely.
awesome. Have a great day, sir.
Thank you.
Bye. Guys, it's always great to get very different opinions on this podcast, and I think it helps you. I mean, I think Manny has some great advice there, which is we don't know what's going to happen in the next election and who's going to get in. I mean, we don't usually, go that far, from the center left and maybe a little bit to the left. I mean, maybe usually more around center left. We haven't been heavy left. I don't think ever I can think of, nor we have been heavy right, just because there isn't really a right here in Costa Rica. I mean, there is, but there's not really. So we'll see kind of what happens there. I mentioned this country is probably run by mid-level government employees. So depending on who the government is, I mean, it definitely could scare off investment depending on, how extreme things go. But we'll see. I mean, I'm still, as many said there, I'm still bullish on Costa Rica long term. Things will be great just because it's a very stable and great place to invest. And we still have a lot of, world companies and especially North American multinationals here as well. So yeah. But if anyone wants to listen to Manny's podcast, I mean, it really is great because he talks to, all of the top players in tourism here and kind of just gives an idea of what's going on at a political level and tourism level. From hotel owners to people running operators to heads of tourism chambers, etc. So again, that link is down in the description down below. But anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. If anyone wants help investing in Costa Rica or just wants to have a chat with us, there's no obligation. The link is down below here. You can set up kind of 30 minutes to chat with one of the guys in the office or myself. And we'll just give you our honest, brute opinion. It's amazing sometimes how people, they actually chat with us and they're like, wow, like I was not expecting you to be this so direct with us. I had a conversation with someone 2 days ago where I was like, you can't make money on a 7-room hotel in Nosada. And he was like, okay, that's all I wanted to hear. And he was like, I appreciate you not giving me the dog and pony show and just giving it to me direct. But look, we don't have a dog in the hunt. Sometimes a lot of people, hire us to help them invest, on the right thing in Costa Rica. Just because we don't have a dog in the hunt. So you can email us info@investingcostarica.com, info@investingcostarica.com. But till the next podcast, appreciate your support, guys. Bye.
The #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.